Who is it?
Hey,
Vinny!
dude, are you there?
Hey, what's
Yeah,
up,
I'm
my
here,
brother?
man.
How are you,
Dude, I don't
man?
have a scary story, man.
I'm gonna have pretty much a heart attack. I'm like having a heart attack, but I can't scream or anything. Basically, laying on the floor, panicking.
Oh!
No, you weren't. You weren't.
Oh!
You built the place. I haven't seen the Hopi in thousands of years. Don't make fun of my people. Period.
Sorry,
I'll come
grandfather.
after your ass and cut you up into little bitty bits.
Facebook page down because people said Richie from Boston's gay. He's gay. I'm gay. I'm a gay man.
And I mean, you can prosecute me for that if you'd like. That's
No,
fine.
it's not why I'm doing that. I'm just
Well,
saying there's a lot
But
of...
that is what you did.
Bigelow started buying websites, including one in British Columbia, Canada. So all of a sudden, this kind of triggered Brian Vike.
Welcome back to Third Phase of the Moon. Blake Cousins here. We've got a special report for you. We've got a few UFO videos that we want to share with you.
Welcome back, everybody. Blake Cousins, along with Orlando Smith and Brent Cousins, we're going to be going over incredible imagery.
Third phase of moon. Third phase of moon.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
You were either in or you were either out, brother.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah.
All right. Welcome to Goof On. Tonight, I am your host, Reach Jujuju, and we are live. What is today? The 15th of July, right? It's Wednesday. Why do I look so weird? Something's different. I think they got me. What? I don't know. I just look different. I don't know what it is. What the hell's going on with this thing? Why is my breasts are out? God, how is everybody? A little, technical issues in the beginning, but we got it figured out. I have the computer set on a schedule to refresh at 4:20 in the morning. If it's on. Well, I put it in sleep mode when I'm not using it, right? So it's easy, it comes back on, everything's where I left it. So, I come in here 5 minutes before, we have to get going. I see the computer isn't on. So I had to turn it on manually, of course, and it comes on and it is doing an update. Now, updates I have scheduled for 5 a.m. It shouldn't and not supposed to happen during the daytime. But it did. So I checked my schedule, and sure enough, 5 a.m. it's scheduled, but an update happened. Then it's supposed to keep the browsers I had open, available. Nope. All gone. Bye-bye. I had to start all over. Had to get all my stuff set up. Then go to log into the show. That's when I messaged you, kind folks, and said, I'm getting technical issues here. Gonna be about a minute or two late because it wouldn't sign me in. Again. So, but yeah, here we are. It worked. Sadly for some of you, we made it. Boy, I tell you, we got a good one tonight. There's a lot of talk about aliens. I don't know if you saw. I didn't, but I'm going to watch Joe Rogan with Vice President J.D. Vance. They talked about aliens for about 45 minutes, I heard. I've got a 10-minute clip, and we're going to watch it. And it's really good. And I'm really shocked from the Vice President of the United States on what he's saying about disclosure. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched bits and pieces to make sure I wanted to watch it with you, of course. So we're going to watch that. I've got a whole bunch of sightings we're going to look at today. Today's, I want to believe, more than you, probably. More than anything. I don't know about more than you, but I know how badly I want to believe that they're here. The government knows about it. They might tell us about it, but they can't. And the weird thing about all of this, what we've been witnessing with disclosure and the congressional hearings, is no other country shows an interest. Where's Italy? Where's France? Where's Brazil? Where's Mexico? Why aren't they doing congressional hearings with their personnel in the government? If we're going to have disclosure, you're damn well right, it better be universal. Now, we can be pigs and just make it about the U.S. and say, hey, here's what the U.S. has, because we get about, 80% of the sightings worldwide, right? It's a ridiculous percentage. And then Mexico, and then, and then everybody else is just a hodgepodge of whatever. Brazil. There's a lot in Brazil, but they get the diamond craft that I think are balloons anyway. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Then, we have to talk about what are the beings. Because we hear they're, demons, man. Our government tried to scare the very high percentage Christian population of the United States in the 30s and 40s. They tried to scare with the War of the Worlds, whenever that came out. And then Roswell happened. And from the 40s to the early 80s, it was a dead subject. It was fringe. Nobody really talked about it. The government denied it. People believe they did, nothing's happening. Crop circles started showing up for about a couple of years. And then Doug and Dave were the guys who were interviewed, said, yeah, we did it with our boards and rope. All over the world, huh? Stonehenge? You went all the way to Stonehenge, huh? Really? Really? That many times? Wow. So that got debunked, and wrongly debunked. But the government kept throwing the demon. Scary. Could be demons. So if they are demons, well, I'm no Bible thumper, but is it with the Bible? Isn't there some stuff that happened a while ago with some dude, I don't know, Jesus, walking on water, turning water into wine, saving lives? I mean, this guy was making a name. He was the David Blaine of the era. He's a true magician or a god. So, there's never been any proof that demons exist. There may be evidence, but there's no proof. You understand what I mean? Lots of stories. Lots of stories. Exorcisms. Different subject. However, paranormal it is. Demons they are. Aliens, could they? Who's here tonight? Let's see what you guys are up to. We got the Thor Panku. What do you say there, T? Tacey Hale, everybody. Welcome to Juge Anje. Yeah. Brian Yates, everybody. Brian Yates. How you doing, Chief? Hey, Metalhead, how do you do? What do you say? Good to see you again today. We had a good show earlier today. I thought it was great. 170,000 views. Huh? I know. We had about 130 subs. You'd think with 130,000 views and 2,500 people watching, you would have at least 500 subs, but it don't work that way. Dan Peters, what do you say there, Chief? Yeah? Good to see you, man. Paris Diamond. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. UFO 91 _1. Welcome to Skybird. There ya. What do you say, Chief? Good to see you back. The Kybalion. What do you say, KB? That's how I do it. I didn't see Anjali. She's here? Well, all right. I don't see the name. Joko Hughes. Are there going to be UFOs? Yes. Oh, on this UFO tour? I didn't see the rest of that until I looked over there. Oh, we got them tonight. Yeah, we got some good ones too. I'm really liking the UFOs footage for tonight. However, I can't trust anything anymore. Glenn Collins, what do you say? How do you be? Yeah, I'm not seeing an Anjali anywhere. I didn't think so. Helicity! Giddy up, are you still here? How do you be? What do you say? Derek Kennedy! Say it ain't so, man. How you been? Good to see you. DK in the house. V-Man? Say word! How you been, man? V-Man. Welcome to the show, Robert Black Jr. Okay. I don't know if I know Robert Black, but the name sounds familiar. Good to see you. Welcome back. Good. Cindy Krause. Welcome to. I went way back to see you guys here. 705. C. 3 C's are better than 2, better than 1. Go. How do you do? Welcome to. What's that? Ready? There you is. DK in the house. Dit.55 on X. On X. Hey, good to see you. What do you say? A daemon is an ancient Greek concept referring to a divine or guiding spirit. No. Uh-oh. Put your thoughts on something bigger than yourself, Kybalion. Hey, we missed you too, man. Good to see you. All right, we're going to get started. If I didn't say your name, it doesn't mean I don't love you. We got a lot of show to do, and we do. So I said I was going to start off with the J.D. Vance, Joe Rogan. So I think you guys will enjoy this. And we're going to look into some UFO footage too. I've got like 6 or 7 sightings. Like, it is really weird how now all of a sudden orbs are everywhere. Right? It's so stupid. And the boogosphere, they don't call them spheres. Anything metallic is a boogosphere now. That's like saying, I'd like to have a Coke, please. Hey, can you make me a Xerox? No! I'd like to have a Mountain Dew, a fizzy drink, as they say in the United Kingdom. Fizzy drinks. Yeah, it's pussies over. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. That slipped. A fizzy drink? You actually go up and say, I'd like a fizzy drink, please. A fizzy drink. Fizzy? I'd like a fizzy drink, please. No. No! And don't say pop. I want a pop. I want a soda. Or the name of the drink. I want a Sprite, a Mountain Dew, a Pepsi, a Coke. Capiche? A Dr. Pepper. Don't say fizzy drink or pop. Those two things don't belong. All right. So, J.D. Vance was on Joe Rogan for over 3 hours talking today about everything. I haven't seen the whole thing. I just watched a few pieces here and there. But they talked about UFOs for a while. So I found this little 10-minute piece. Thought it might be interesting from Tupacabra on X. See? You see this? You see the picture? You see what they're doing here? Right? You saw my thumbnail, yeah? Something's going on. Hey, Dorothy. For no reason, just because. Well, thank you for reminding. I forgot. If you'd like to help support Goof on Truthology for Ufology is how we roll. We're the only ones who say it like it really is. No shame in my game. If the truth is what it is, then why have any shame at all? Not here. Dorothy, thank you for supporting Goof on as long as you have. And tonight, with a $2 super chat, you were very gracious, very generous, and very nice. I appreciate you putting up with me and my ways. But guys, yeah, super chat, super sticker, PayPal, Cash App, all the links are in the show description. You know what to do more than anybody. So if you like what we do here, you know, monetarily speaking, goes a long way towards the truth. Somehow, I don't know, it just does. Trust me, it does. It's motivating. How do we get rid of that, you say? Okay. All right. JD Vance wants to tell you something. Thank you, Dorothy. Dit.55 on X. Just because of the wonderful things I does.
Thing that I thought was very odd. Okay. You said that you thought that they were demons.
Oh, okay. Now you see? Started right off. I'm not going to interrupt. I just had to do that. Demons? Well, J.D. Vance, isn't he a Bible reader? Yeah, so they start off with that.
You said something that I thought was very odd. Okay. You said that you thought that they were demons.
Odd?
Okay, I did say that.
What did you mean by that?
Well, first of all, there not just in Christianity, but in a number of world religions, there are a number of mystical things that happened, extra dimensional, extra. Like I'm not one of these people who's like a hyper rationalist. Okay. Like I think that there are things happening in the world that we're not always seeing. I believe in God. I think that there is a kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Not extra real.
Supernatural.
Supernatural. There are supernatural things that are happening. Okay. So if you look historically at, things that are similar to the alien phenomenon, where, some strange being, it kind of looks like a human being, but doesn't look like, but it's not human. And it shows a particular interest in human beings. And then it takes the human beings and, does weird experiments on them. I think my argument is that's either bullshit, right? You're either talking to a crazy person, which I don't like. I'm not saying just because I believe in the supernatural doesn't mean I believe in everything supernatural. But if we're talking about an extraterrestrial being that is human-like but not human, that contains effectively infinite powers and is torturing human beings. You can call it an alien if you want, but I think there's a lot of historical precedent to call that a demon.
Well,
wait, what? How? Yeah, of course I'm going to stop. I got to listen to that again. I don't know, man.
Being that is human-like but not human, that contains effectively infinite powers and is torturing human beings. You can call it an alien if you want, but I think there's a lot of historical precedent to call that a demon.
Wait a minute. Aliens are abducting, they're abusing us? They're torturing us? Really?
Being that is human-like but not human, that contains effectively infinite powers and is torturing human beings.
That contains essentially infinite powers. I guess that would mean technology. And then in the same sentence, torturing human beings. I am not aware that that is happening. How come that's not, in the congressional hearing talk? How come that's not in the Eleganzo circle jerks of ufology? How come I've never heard that? I mean, I've heard it, but we got the vice president of the United States saying it, which is weird because he looks like a typical whistleblower, doesn't he? I think this is odd. So far, I'm nervous AF. Continue.
You can call it an alien if you want, but I think there's a lot of historical precedent to call that a demon.
Wow.
Well, a lot of these stories and these accounts.
We have one right here on the
demonic
coaster.
alien. Yeah, that's the mothership logo. A lot of these accounts are not of people being tortured. They're people that are being exposed to information, like the Travis Walton story is a very famous case from the 1970s.
I don't know this one. I'm going to read about it on the way back, though.
It's this guy right here.
How does he not know?
Travis Walton Bobblehead. He's one of the most famous UFO abduction stories.
Okay.
There's a movie with D.B. Cooper in the...
and like, what is the information that they gave Travis Walton?
Was D.B. Cooper that was the... D.B. Sweeney. D.B. Cooper was the guy who stole the money and jumped out of the plane. Fire in the Sky. There's a movie.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I remember this movie. I don't think I ever saw it, though.
1993. Good movie, but sensational. And Travis Walton says they made a bunch of shit up, and that's not what happened. But
yeah,
the story was that he was a logger in Arizona. And he was leaving a job. They were all together in a truck, and these loggers saw this light, land in this forest, and they went to go investigate. He jumps out of the truck, and he gets close to it, and he's hit by some beam of light and knocked to the ground. They take off, and then they realize, like, we've got to go back. We don't know what's going on. Like, they turn around. They go back to get him. They're freaked out and panicked. They go back to get him. He's gone. The police interview them. They think that they killed him. There's an investigation. 5 days later, he shows up.
Arizona,
wearing the same clothes,
snowflake,
and he has this crazy story. And he had been in this spaceship for 5 days, is what he said, and that they had fixed him, they healed him, and then they had communicated with him telepathically, and he had this very bizarre encounter with these beings that aren't from here, or if they are from here, they're very different than us.
Okay, so I guess my response to that would be extra powerful beings, in this case communicating telepathically, helping people.
No.
Sounds like an angel.
No.
So I guess
right.
my
No. They hurt him with the light. Joe didn't explain it. They hurt him. Then they healed him to send him back. Before they send him back, right?
Or here's let me make the Steelman version of my argument. It's that my dog there's no real difference between me and God to my dog. I can literally walk into a room and turn the light on. I can make food appear instantaneously. I can transport myself across time and space very, very rapidly. If you're a human being with intelligence, but not supernatural intelligence, I guess my point is, again, this could all be bullshit. This could all be fake. That's a possibility. But if it's real, is there really a meaningful difference between an angel or a demon and a space alien with super technology? To our perception,
yes,
they would largely just look like the same thing.
I think we're capable of nuance, and we're capable of understanding that human beings are far more complex and evolved than chimpanzees. And we could imagine a world where if we don't blow ourselves up and there's not a nuclear bomb and we don't get hit by an asteroid, if we live another million years, that we would have technology that's indistinguishable from magic, right?
Exactly. That's
we already have that technology. Radios, lasers, sound technology. You know, the weaponized shit they use now.
Right.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And then we could show up on another planet.
A microwave oven. You know what? Anything. Fire.
Demons. It just means they're hyper-evolved, advanced
there you go.
Civilizations from somewhere else.
And what I'm saying is the perception of those beings to a more simple intelligence.
Sure.
There's not a meaningful difference. So you're like talking about what it is that these things actually are. And I guess what I'm talking about is how would a human being with my level of intelligence or your level of intelligence in 2026 understand what's going on?
Right, but from a biblical perspective, there's a very big difference between a demon and a hyper-intelligent being from somewhere else.
I mean, a demon or a hyper-intelligent, malicious...
If demons are real, if there really are dark forces in the universe, and they're disembodied dark forces, these things that exist,
yes,
and then there's also powerful light forces in the universe, that they don't have to be mutually exclusive to the concept of hyper-intelligent other species.
Absolutely.
When you're looking at an insanely vast universe.
I don't think they have to be. But I think that it is interesting to me that for most of human history, we would have understood supernatural, hyper-powerful, hyper-knowledgeable things as sort of celestial or celestial.
We would have thought of a cell phone as being sorcery.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't
Maybe
mean
it
it's
is.
sorcery. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just technology. That argument doesn't make any sense to me.
Well,
and this is not discounting the possibility of demons or discounting the possibility of angels.
Well, I guess I understand your point conceptually. I don't actually disagree with it. So I don't think we're saying something different. That, you know, metaphysically, there could be two separate things going on. There could be there could be extra Earth, outside of Earth space aliens, and there could also be angels and demons. These could be two totally separate things. One could be true and not the other. I totally concede and agree with that point. I guess what I'm saying is it's a distinction that is conceptually interesting to me, but if a space alien with like superhuman technology comes to the Earth and has malicious intent, I don't know how I'm supposed to tell the difference between that and a demon.
If they have malicious intent. But I mean, isn't that also the case with visiting people, right? Like you could have a country and you get visited by the Peace Corps or you get visited by pirates.
Yeah.
You know, and are the pirates demons?
Right.
Is the Peace Corps angels?
No, but I think we're talking about something much different. I mean,
Are we talking about...
If we went to another planet that was inhabited by intelligent people and they believed in demons and shit like that, we would be considered demonic. If we looked much different, if we destroyed something by accident, or, you know, they think we're attacking, you know, it's all perspective, but calling the reason the Christianity or the Christians way back when called the aliens demonic because they had no other name for them. And they didn't understand it. And they were aliens. Man, they look different. Of course it's demonic to them. It doesn't mean they're demons though, man. So what you have to imagine is that aliens would have to believe in heaven and hell to be demonic. Wouldn't they have to have some sort of religious belief? If we thought they were demons, not necessarily. But for them to act demonic, what does that entail? Abducting us? Beating us up? Killing us? I mean, why? The only reason we say they're demonic is because that's what the Bible-thumping Christians called them 1,000 years ago, whenever the hell they saw them.
Something different, or are we talking about a hyper-advanced version of that?
We're talking about, I mean, as I understand it, we're talking about things that exist outside the United States. Outside of the Earth, okay? And
Perhaps.
two different types of beings that could exist outside. I mean, okay, maybe
there's a lot of people.
Yep,
you know,
who
Tim
think that
Burchett thinks that they're here.
There's Atlantis, or there's something else
well,
like that.
They're somehow or another they're survivors of a long gone civilization that live under the ocean.
Yeah,
it's just as kooky as living in
space. Here's the way I would put it: is like there's also a difference between a demon and a ghost, right? These things are two very different conceptual things,
right?
But if I'm a human being and I meet a malicious ghost, maybe I think it's a demon, and maybe all I'm saying is maybe there's some point at which the conceptually interesting, this is such a weird conversation, at which point the conceptually interesting discussion of what it is separate from how it appears to me and how I'm going to understand it as a human being in my particular social and cultural context in 2026. But if you're looking for me to concede the point that there is something different or could be something different between an angel, a demon, a space alien, a supernatural but non any of those other things beings, yes, I concede that.
Wow. I guess it goes to your personal belief, right? Then you have your personal belief. Then you have researchers. And then you have experiencers. So there are these groups that have different beliefs based on perspectives and experience. And not only experience with research, but experience with these beings. And that's why I'm mad at Christopher Bledsoe. Because his whole entire thing is bullshit. And we all know it. And nobody's telling it to his face. Nobody's telling him. Nobody has the guts to be honest with this guy and say, stop lying. Because his proof is the worst I've ever seen. He's a horrible storyteller. And everything he's claimed hasn't come true. And this white lady, please, can you be any more racist? Why does she have to be white? Why couldn't she be yellow or blue or green? It's a white lady because I like white ladies. Yeah, of course you do, prick. Can't stand that guy. However, no proof that the white lady's real. And that is the problem with all of this stuff. We don't get to see nothing. Even today, congressional hearings, nothing. And if you go and listen to the congressional hearings again, with David Grush especially, listen to that and tell me, what has he said that you haven't already heard? I'm not going to get into it all, but everything he says, we've already heard. Nothing new. They're here. They're biologics, not aliens. He didn't say aliens. He didn't even call them, he called them pilots. NHI, non-human intelligence, could mean anything but human. It could mean a billy goat. It could mean a giraffe. But most likely it was a chimpanzee, right? Non-human. The whole thing doesn't make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, something is wrong. Occam's razor says the simplest answer is the most logical one. And that is, we just don't know. And I love that we've had the congressional hearings. Don't get me wrong. But with the couple we've had, we've heard nothing new. The only new thing we heard was the Jake Barber story with the egg. And I thought maybe when he came out and started talking about the egg, and he had this a feeling with it when he was alone with it, and he's carrying it from one place to another for 30 minutes. And he said he had this telepathic emotional feeling connection to it, like it was reaching out to him, whatever. And then sadly, everything unraveled because it went to his head, and then he became a summoner. Could they be demons? I've seen a lot of questions, a lot of chat, a lot of things in the chat. I mean, it's a lot of confusion as to what the aliens are, if they're even here. For everything we've heard, we still don't have any legitimate evidence of an alien on video, on a picture. Look, you guys want to talk about puppetry? You want to talk about the Area 51 interview? It's a total puppet. That is the dumbest alien. And that's right, I forgot I got to get, what's his name back on the show. He believes it to be real. I can't believe this guy. Anyway, there's a movie coming out, a new documentary on the Catholic perspective of UFOs and UFO disclosure. And it features David Grush. I guess he says, as a Catholic, I actually have more questions than answers, and I'd like the church to lead on this. I would. I don't want the church to be a part of it. If they are a part of it, not to lead us into temptation, but deliver us not. I don't want them to be the lead when it comes to disclosure. I want them to be a part of it, because we all know the Vatican has got Lucifer, the telescope. Why would they name it Lucifer? Demons. Beta. So it features a lot of Catholics from around the world, clergy, theologians, and everyday believers speaking on camera about the modern UFO phenomenon, drawing on over 50 hours of original interviews, not of this world, tells the story of how the Catholic faith is grappling with a new reality. And that is the name of it, not of this world, I'm assuming, because that's the way they wrote it. Let's take a look at this 2-minute plus, I guess, trailer?
Shooting hoops in my backyard. I looked up and there was a cylindrical object in the sky, down, up, side, and then shot out of sight.
At night, we're walking along the beach and two large objects appeared in the sky, each one about the size of a full moon. We were terrified and we jumped in the car and drove back to my house.
And at that moment, I was hooked. I realized all of those people that are claiming they've seen something in the sky, most of them might just be telling the truth.
The thought of me speaking to you now about UAPs and these phenomena 5 years ago would have been absolutely ludicrous. Obviously, things have changed.
The very definition of insanity, tinfoil hat. We're bound. Maybe there's something to it.
I'm David Grush. I was a career intelligence officer in the U.S. Air Force. I essentially became the first whistleblower to testify under oath.
I remember thinking a lot about his testimony. He directly connected the claims about these secret programs to the Vatican.
The claim is that in 1933, a craft crashed near Magenta, Italy. Pope Pius XII got in touch with the American government and said, "We think you ought to have it."
The Roman Catholic Church must be very cautious. What will the general people think?
I wanted to see the big picture. If they're real, then how does it fit in what we believe? And it didn't fit well at all.
It didn't make sense to me as a devout Christian that God would have told us everything and just leave out 99% of reality.
People want to think the aliens are all fun and games, and the reality is it's not. And the stakes are really high.
It kind of ultimately leads to, what if this renders Christianity false?
As a Catholic, I actually have more questions than answers, and I would like the church to lead on this.
Question of other persons, of fallenness in other worlds, where but the Catholic faith would I look to try to find some understanding?
If the church at the highest levels does know something, the time for transparency is now.
We really are just at the very beginning of a massive, massive journey.
Wow, that looks really good, actually. You know? Looks good. Who made this movie? Does it tell me? I don't see, yeah, it doesn't tell me. Paris, thank you very much for $5 super chat. You say, I find it odd that many are Mormons in this. What about that? You know, I'm not a religious, I'm not a smart guy when it comes to religion and all the people that are in it and all that. I to be honest, I'll have to look into it. I'll have to look into it to give you a real answer. But if I was to answer it based on what I think, why wouldn't they be in it? Why wouldn't they? Everybody from every culture on every place on earth has had an experiencer, a person who's been abducted by something. So it doesn't shock me that in Utah, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump, and in the general area of Area 51 and Nevada, that they would have a lot of experiencers in the Mormon community. So that's what I could say on that right now, but doesn't surprise me, Paris. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And it does have to do with the geographical location. On maybe how many people experience things. If you ever look at the UFO abduction map, let me pull it up for you. If I just pull it up, the United States. Let's take a look. The highest rates of UFO sightings and reported alien encounters in the U.S. occur in the Pacific Northwest and the West, particularly in Washington State, Oregon, Nevada, and Arizona. Smaller rural states generally have fewer reports, but Delaware, Washington, and New York also rank amongst the highest per capita. You know, that's interesting. Here's the map. Let me pull it up. Show you what I got here. Hold on. Here we go. Do 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 do. As you can see, Utah has a lot of sightings. Look at the whole area here, right? Right here. You got Nevada, right there. You got Utah right here, right next door. I mean, I would have thought there would have been a lot more considering what they're, other than Washington and Arizona. I mean, everybody right here, the four corners, should have about maybe an equal opportunity alien encounter experiencer. And that is interesting. Here, Nevada's Lincoln County had the most reported UFO sightings among U.S. counties. Now, that's not alien abductions. I was looking for alien abductions. Alien encounters. Well, that figures. Let me see if I can. Well, not there. Hold on. Here we go. Let me take a look. I want alien encounters. So let's do this. Let's narrow it down. Let's try this. All right, here we go. UFO sightings taken serious. No, that's not it. Okay. Aliens Journey UFO map for 3D. Or browse the UFO sightings map to view the history of specific cities. That's not it. Data from the NUFORCE, National UFO Reporting Center, and the U.S. Census Bureau highlights clear regional trends in ET activity across the U.S. Oh, maybe I'm here. Oh, they're showing the map that I had up for us. This map right here, they're showing that again. The Western U.S. heavily dominates the map in per capita sightings, and they keep going to sightings. But then they say, wow, I'm really upset. If you want to investigate reports close to your current location, where I'm at in Florida, you can call da-da-da-da-da. All right. All right. Yeah, hold on. What county has the most alien encounter? What country has the most alien encounters? It's the U.S. on every single thing. Yeah, U.S. Hold on. Let me try something else. Map for alien encounters. USA. All right, I'm going to look at this one. It's unbelievable. UFO sightings. They don't have anything that I've seen. I'm going to have to do some research to find it. You'd think I would have that map. But why? Why would I need it? Who cares? It's the UFO sightings. No, that's different than alien sightings. Let's try that. Instead of alien encounters, alien sightings. And then I'll try abductions. Same map you're looking at. Boy, I'm getting a little bit angry. Just a little bit. What's this? Shit. It's terrible. All right, let's try abductions. Check this out. The state with the highest rate of potential alien abductions is Delaware, with one sighting per 928 people. That you have to go to the Global ESRI UFO Atlas. Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't like what yeah, no. The UFO Atlas, hotspots and sightings globally. You know what? Eat a dick. Sorry. All right, well, I'll find it eventually, but I'm not going to spend any more time on that. Yeah, but you can see. I mean, it's the whole western half of the United States. But Delaware? Isn't that like right here? Yeah, Delaware. New Hampshire, right? Isn't that where it is? Where is Delaware anyway? I can't remember. Delaware, Delaware, Delaware. You got a DE, you got an LAW. Oh, there it is. I just passed it. Your sister's ass. How could Delaware be the best place? And how come I've never seen a movie about Delaware and UFOs? That's weird. Is it down here? Yeah, right here. Oh my God. So this is Delaware, DE, right here. I was up too high. All right. Now, I saw this video today that was talking about Atlantis being, well, the United States, Florida, and it's underneath the continental shelf of the United States, they were saying. Like, off the coast of Florida, but it's underneath the ground and underneath Florida. And, you know, Bimini Road is over there and all that, but I don't want to do a show about that. I just think it's interesting that I saw that video talking about that. All right, let me pull up. I've got some interesting sightings to look at. So let's look at those right now. All right, I'm waiting. All right, here we go. So the Boogosphere over farmland. Just a sphere. It's a good video, though. I'm going to show it to you. I believe this is X. Yep, it's from World News. Now, I don't trust World News X, but who cares? It's the world we live in now, and this is a sphere over some agriculture somewhere. Check it
Video
out.
is currently going viral. Someone captured footage of a Boogosphere flying low over an open field or farmland. But what it does at the end is something that has never been recorded in any previous Boogosphere case.
That looks fake to me. Why does that look fake to me? Okay, it's almost done.
This
Holy
sphere
shit.
moves at a speed unlike anything we've seen from one of these objects before. This crazy video is currently...
Now, it could be real. Wow, look at this. Look how it bulges out. I want you to watch this part right here. When I go frame to frame, it bulges out. Here we go. See that? Look at the bulge. Come on, don't be a dick. See that? Bulge, bulge. I know it's weird. Now, I'm looking at the shadow. I want you to look at the shadow. Look at the shadow. Even the bending of it is in the shadow. The bulging, I mean. That is interesting. But where's the shadow right there? Why do we lose the shadow 3 feet? Right? Where'd it go? Not real. Would the shadow be invisible at that point? You know what I mean? Because it's going so fast? Nope. It's not how it works. It's a fake. Sorry, guys. Gotcha. Looks good, though. Almost got us. I wanted to believe in the Battle of the Bulge, but sorry. The Bugatti sphere is not real. Holy crap. All right. I must be living in an alternate reality right now. The video I'm about to play you is Michael, who's the skeptic? Sherman, what's his name? He says he was abducted in 1983. The biggest asshole skeptic I've ever seen. Michael Shermer. Yeah, this guy, I hate him. Like, real disdain for this guy because he was on a TV show talking about Area 51 and everything, and Stanton Friedman was on, and he says, oh yeah, that's fake. It doesn't matter what they were talking about. And Stanton goes, so have you researched it? And definitely, have you researched the details? And he goes, I don't need to. I know it's fake. With that kind of attitude from Skeptic Magazine guy, isn't that him? I can't stand Michael Sherman. Shermer. I did have an alien abduction experience in. Okay, he's scratching his head. Same thing Greer does when he lies. He puts his finger in the ear. A lot of people scratch themselves, and he's doing it on the side where people lie. Why? Why is he lying about being abducted? I'm telling you, he's lying. There's no reason to scratch your head right there as you're saying you were abducted. I noticed that instantly. This is the biggest tell. This and looking up or down to the right, left, whatever is a big tell in lying. I did have an alien abduction experience in 1980. And he even stuttered. I had an alien abduction. This guy's a freaking jagoff. I did have an alien abduction experience in 1983. I was traveling along a lonely rural highway near Hagler, Nebraska, and a big vehicle with bright lights pulled me over, and the aliens got out, and they abducted me into the ship, where I lost 90 minutes of time, missing time. This was during Race Across America, and I'd ridden 1,280 miles from Santa Monica Pier all the way into Nebraska, nonstop on a bicycle, right? Except for a few bathroom breaks, but just no sleep, right? So I'm sleep deprived, going like 5 miles an hour, just sort of wobbling down the road.
That's a very strange thing happened to me last night. I mean, like psychotic type experiences. Such as thinking my crew was aliens from another planet trying to capture me.
The big spaceship is my support crew, big motorhome with lights. And the aliens are my support crew, my girlfriend, my best friend, my mechanic, and so on. So I've always used this example of people that have experiences really have them.
See why I hate him? See why I hate the guy? He didn't have an alien experience. He was sleep deprived. It was his girlfriend and the team. He needs to go. That's why he did this. See? I'm telling you. The head scratch, the ear, Greer ear. Telling you. So we knew he was lying. Even before we found out it was his racing team and his support team. What a dick. What a freaking double-eye dick. No, really, I don't like him. I wish he was taken. So here's a sighting from Western France. Not so sure about this one. Take a look, though. 100% fake. I'm not even going to spend another second on that. When I looked at that, I looked at it on my phone. I thought it was better than what we just saw. All right. So this next one, now this is going to get me out of the house tomorrow morning real early. Because I got an email from somebody who is a UFO person and lives on Pine Island, where they have seen these orbs out in the Gulf of America. And they think they're anywhere from 2 to 5 miles off Pine Island. But they can't, even with their own telescopes and their own cameras, they can't see a ship or a solid craft. It's always orbs, just light. Now they're in Miami. Let me show this to you. I don't know, guys. This could be something else. This could be Chinese lamps, but it's pretty cool. See this shape? The 3 and the 1? And then there's another one. This is a shape that I've captured in 2 of my fleet sightings. 3 and then 1. I know there's another one there, but usually it's 3 and 1. Maybe this shows up later. But I think this is real. I don't know if this is Chinese lamps, but let's take a look. I mean, that is unbelievable. However, we don't get to see the end game. That's really cool. Those two are sitting right there. Hold on. I'm going to go back and start over. They keep the frame pretty consistently still. I'm going to put the cursor and see if they move. Okay, they're moving from, well, now we don't know. God dang it. Try it again. All right, they're moving too much. They're moving too much. Yeah, it's moving from left to right, I think. But this is what they're seeing off the coast of Pine Island. Am I seeing smoke up here? I don't know. I don't know. It's pretty good looking, though. I don't know. I like it, though. Because I like that it's in Miami, too. I got some more orbs. Everything's an orb tonight. All right, this is interesting. I don't know if it's real, fake, or real fake. But we're going to take a look at these orbs in a cluster. Here we go. This is called UAP Wixy, W-I-X-Y on X. And go. It's over a minute and a half. Minute 50. Oh, look at this. Okay, you see how there's 2 here and 2 here? This is also something I've captured twice, the 2 and 2. Now, I don't know why this is coming in, but I've seen the 2 and 2 many times. All right, twice. 2 times. Both times I got fleets. They showed up in this formation. It's weird. Oh, this has got to be fake. Why are they doing this? No, not buying it. Have you noticed the issues with the video? No narration. Nobody else. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Anybody seeing this, recording history in the making, something that the world would go nuts over, and you don't narrate what you're watching, it's nice and clear out. It feels like, I think it's 70 degrees. There's a wind out of the northwest. None of that. I'm counting 4 to 5. I've been here for 5 minutes. We now have 10 or 11 of these things. Trust me when I say these are not Chinese lanterns. These are not balloons. This is a real phenomenon, and I've got it on video. Where's that guy or girl? Where is it? Bullshit. That's how you know it's BS. I'll teach you guys the rules. Rules of engagement. All right, this one's supposed to be real, in my opinion. It's up to you to believe it. From Patrick Jackson. Now, the Sphere Network is UT in nature and is deployed from the ground or ocean. The network has been here before, recorded history, before recorded history began, these have been here. So any assumption that this is human tech is completely incorrect. Below, observe one of these deployments. Also, it's possible to find these areas as they create small tunnel holes with burnt ground surroundings. All right, you have to suspend your disbelief. Can you do that? Because check this out. Oh, did I miss the other super chat? 2 weeks ago, I seen 2 and 2 and 2 go by like that. In formation, like, military, huh? Did I miss? Hey, Rotary Matrix, thank you very much. On X. Love you too, man. Thank you for watching over there. Appreciate that. Look at this. It came out of the hole. Thank you, Paris, with the $5 super duper chat. Did I miss another one from you? Hey, Bob Birkins, how you doing, Shirtless Wonder? I thought there was another one you sent up. Did I get it? Did I miss it? It should be right up here. I don't see it. Well, thank you very much. You've got some interesting sightings, huh? You got to get them on camera. Here we go. Oh, yeah, that was your Mormon one. Okay, so we're caught up on. There he is. What do you say, B? Good to see you, man. Happy New Year. They were amber. Yeah, Paris, 2 weeks ago. What was 2 weeks ago? The 4th of July? No. Just before. 2 weeks ago was the 1st, 2nd. The 1st. maybe you got to start looking for patterns. Like check the first of each month or the first week in each month. See if you see that again. Thank you, Paris. Another super chat. Appreciate the support, as always. We got some sneaky magoos here tonight hanging out. Glad you guys can make it. So this sighting, I was talking through it, and I'm not sure what to believe in this. Look at this. They think there's these little holes they bore out and come in and out of. Now, maybe, guys, maybe. But this is what worries me about AI. Because you can make these. Now, I see a lot of issues with this light, the way it's illuminating the area and all that. I don't think it's real. But I like that somebody thought of this as a possibility. And that's interesting to me. Because people have seen this. That's the weird thing, guys. People have seen objects like this going in the ground. Now, I've never heard of anybody talking about the holes that they bore out. Never heard that before. But they have to, right? Or they just melt into the ground because they're just energy. So they don't need a hole. They just go into the ground. That's why I don't like that. That's what makes me scared about AI. We got more. I got mo. I got a lot of mo. Not a lot. Did you know Tulsi Gabbard sent a group of military people to investigate UFO reports at a military base? Yeah, when they arrived, they personally encountered glowing orbs, and they looked like balls of plasma. They told Eric Burleson that it completely changed everything for them. Their belief system was 180 degrees from non-believer to believer. They said, now we know there is something there. They told me about the event that happened in the Western United States. People from Tulsi's team were actually on site for this. It was one of our U.S. military installations. There was senior intelligence officials there. They actually personally encountered these UFOs. I can't say which specific location. They were there because there have been previous reports. And now they were going around looking for any kind of debris in the desert. They had landed a helicopter and they all got the call that the radar had picked up on several of these orbs. So they jumped in the helicopter and they go to the location, and what they interact with are basically glowing orbs. And these orbs are like 3 meters in diameter. They have different shades of color that they glow in. They are some type of spherical nebulous, what's described as like a ball of plasma. I don't think anybody's ever touched one to know what it's like if it's superheated material or anything, but it definitely was messing with the helicopter. Whoa. I want to hear if Burleson is telling the same story, because if I hear the same words, I'll just stop it. But he's talking about it here in this interview. I want to listen.
I would say the most remarkable thing that happened was you had this transition with, and I think Tulsi did a great job setting up what was called the DIG, the Directors Initiative Group. And she had these teams that are investigating several things, one of them being UFOs, UAPs. And I think that was probably one of the lower priorities of the group, but they were doing that research and they really didn't dedicate a lot of resources to it. They had one guy, basically, and I think he got discouraged pretty quickly. Or not quickly. He really threw himself into it for a few years and then got discouraged. And then as he was transitioning out, they had brought me in and briefed me about what they had accomplished. And then a few months later, they said, "Sir, we need to bring you back in." They actually reached out to me and said, "We would like for you to come back in, and we want to brief you because things have changed. So they brought me in and they told me about the event that happened in the Western United States. People from Tulsi's team were actually on site.
Whoa.
For this. It was at one of our U.S. military installations. There was people from the intelligence community there, senior intelligence officials. They actually personally encountered these UAP.
Whoa.
And they gave me that in a briefing. I think I was the first elected official to get that briefing. And so they said, sir, we're pretty much approached this topic the same way that you have, very skeptical. And but we feel like we have a job to go out and investigate this. And this event has completely changed everything, because now we know that there is something there. We just don't know what it is.
All right. We get it. Next, I've got a few more, actually. I told you I have a lot of stuff today. This is really, really weird. From Henderson, Nevada, last Friday. An onlooker stops driving as he sees this very large white object, and it was descending rapidly towards the mountains in the distance, maybe about 5-10 miles away. It's hard to tell, but it stopped just above the top of the mountains, and it hovered there for 10 minutes, and they recorded it. And many witnesses to this event include several police reports. So this is a legitimate sighting from Henderson, and it's good. I think this is really a legitimate sighting.
Yeah, they moved really fast and
That's
really
big.
slow.
That's like 50 feet.
It's just floating. It was over the mountain, came down really fast, and it's just sitting there. And there's a bunch of people in other buildings looking at it. It's been sitting there for like 10 minutes.
That's wild. I mean, if you weren't looking out the window, or you were just casually looking around, you wouldn't even notice it. It just blends in, even though it doesn't. That's the weird thing about sightings like this. They hide in plain sight because we're so into our own lives, into the phone, into driving, into, whatever. It's just, we don't take time to look around at what's around us.
All right, yeah, they moved.
Anyway, that's pretty wild, actually. It's weird, but it seems legit to me. Seems legit. This next one, well, this was filmed Tuesday on a UPS cargo flight from US to Hong Kong. So this is allegedly real. I'm not so sure, but we've got a concerned citizen. Here we go. 50 seconds. I don't know. Oh, God. Too good to be true. And we've learned when it's too good to be true, got a couple more. All right. Time to listen to jerk-offs. UFOs were seen at Chernobyl. I think we've seen this. Yeah, it's Lou talking about Chernobyl and Fukushima. I don't think we need to watch that. I've got a few more things here I think I want to talk about. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So, The Great UFO Awakening has begun, is the title. Trump is forcing full disclosure. No more lies, no more cover-ups. President Trump is tearing down the wall of secrecy and exposing it all. Whistleblowers are dropping nuke bombs, military craft that defy physics, possible alien biologics recovered, and defense contractors hoarding game, changing tech behind ironclad NDAs while Congress gets stonewalled for decades. Trump's direct orders are cracking the vault wide open. Agencies are being forced to declassify. Stephen Miller is leading the charge from the White House. Congress is arming whistleblowers with protections, immunity, and a full UAP Disclosure Act. The military-industrial complex can't hide it anymore. The American people deserve the truth about non-human disclosure. Intelligence. What do you think they've been hiding? Drop your theories below. This changes everything. I didn't know I had that energy in me. Still, at this hour? From Constitution X on X. Check this out. From Fox News, of all people. The age of disclosure is here. Giddy up.
Identified aerial phenomena, you might call them UFOs. Whistleblowers say these crafts defy physics and human comprehension. They also say that we have some of them in our possession, along with biologics, they call them, the bodies of their alien pilots. People want to see the evidence.
No, no. No, no, no. Do you see? You see what he did? He changed it. He changed the narrative. I don't even think he meant to do it. He said alien biologics pilots, something in that order. Listen to what he said, because it's inaccurate. All we know is there were biologics pilots, not alien.
Along with biologics, they call them.
Right? Listen.
Comprehension. They also say that we have some of them in our possession, along with biologics, they call them, the bodies of their alien pilots.
Wrong! Not what he said. Now that's bullshit reporting right there. But you see, I want to tell you something right now. If you believe in the Mandela effect, people will use this in the future and call it a Mandela effect. Because he said alien. When Grush never said alien, he said biologics. Never said alien. Believe me, if he did, we'd be all over it. He didn't. But that's what this investigative journalist reporter did. He made it into aliens. Isn't that nice? Now you could say, oh, that's a Mandela effect. Wrong. And that's how the Mandela effect, those are the things that make the Mandela effect legitimate in some people's eyes. When people make mistakes like this guy just did. Oh, Looney Tunes, I didn't know it had 2 O's in it. Always has. Or whatever that, you know what I mean? T-O-O-N, I didn't know it was, I thought it was T-U-N-E-S. Because somebody somewhere wrote it wrong. T-U-N-E-S. Then all of a sudden you see T-O-O-N-S and you think, bing, Mandela. That's how the Mandela effect happens. By bad reporting, wrong advertising, and people just make mistakes. It's human nature to see things that aren't there that make more sense to you than the actual reality you're living in. That's why he said alien biologic pilots, whatever he said, because in everybody's mind, we're all thinking it's alien. You see how that works? So there you go. That's the Mandela effect. I wanted to say that to you tonight. And I'm glad I remembered to play that clip because that's how the Mandela effect takes place. That's how it takes shape, and that's why people believe in it. It's bad memory, big mistakes. That's all it is. No such thing as a Mandela effect. I'm sorry. Sorry. All right. So we will start this over almost. Go.
They also say that we have some of them in our possession, along with biologics, they call them, the bodies of their alien pilots. People want to see the evidence with their own eyes.
The one thing specifically, people say, we want to know where locations of craft and biologics are, right? So we know for a fact that there have been a few very credible whistleblowers that we've talked to that allege that they have information specifically pertaining to this, but they're afraid of losing their clearances.
But it's not just government employees who need protection, it's the private sector too. Years ago, the government enlisted defense contractors to study and analyze all the alien technology we have found so that we could understand and re-engineer it for our own use. It's all top secret stuff. Even members of our own government don't know exactly which companies are involved and what they have. Marco Rubio says that's no good.
The real risk that in transferring technology that is not useful to us today to a corporate entity, over decades, that corporate entity comes to basically possess and control access to it for their own purposes, not for the purposes of national security. And so you can start to foresee where you create in corporate hands an extraordinary amount of power.
So we need to know what alien secrets are tucked deep inside the military-industrial complex, and we'll never know that if whistleblowers don't speak out. Well, that's about to change. Dan Farah is the director and producer of The Age of Disclosure, and he joins us now. So, Dan, let's begin with this. Why do government contractors and government employees, but government contractors, need protection right now?
So,
they don't need protection, but we're going to say they need protection because it gives them more credibility if their life is put on the line when they're whistleblowing. Without the threat of them being whacked, then they're just a regular old person telling their story. But add that little, right? You put that little thing in there, that nuance to, well, they could be, ooh, they must be telling the truth. They don't need protection.
Take a step back, following
I know, from jail and all treason and all that.
the release of the film, The Age of Disclosure, the president issued an historic directive in February instructing federal...
Look at that. You're going to tell me that lollipop is not a balloon? Come on.
...agencies to identify and declassify evidence.
Ooh, look at that dot. Wow, beautiful. What precision, what clarity, and 4K even. Give me a break.
And UAP. The White House.
Woo, another dot. Keep them going. More dots, the better.
And in that process, they learned that a lot of the most valuable evidence and information is in the possession of private defense contractors. Contractors have been given this sensitive technology for a number of reasons. Primarily, the major defense contractors are the ones who have the best engineers and scientists to actually try to understand this technology and reverse engineer it. So there's a practical reason they're given this technology.
Look, the government is scared shit that the black budget program guys, the contractors, are not disclosing their findings. See, this is why I think they actually now, I guess they might do it, I don't know.
It also adds a...
But have somebody from the government in there with these guys, so they can't steal technology and take over the world. Because that's the fear the government has, is that these contractors are going to take and make and then break. And they're going to take the world. See all the aches in there?
Security layer, because private contractors are not subject to FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act.
That's another reason why they use contractors, because they're private. You can't do a FOIA request. Even if you did a FOIA request and they worked in the government, They would black out everything anyway or deny it. Come on, why do we got to play the game?
And they can much more easily hide secrets. The problem is that's backfired, and that now the defense contractors are they have a great deal of power in this situation. They're holding most of the cards. They have the evidence,
there
and
you
our
go.
elected leaders don't have access to it. Now, a lot of people who have worked on these programs have signed non-disclosure agreements that prohibit them from sharing.
What is a legacy program? What does that mean? Vetted said the same thing, and it shocked me that he said that because I've been asking that question for a very long time. What does it mean? Legacy. I think what it means is it's old. And they've created a legacy based on the historic nature of their findings. That makes it a legacy retrieval, crash retrieval program, don't you think? Anyway, that's it for tonight. We don't need to listen to Dan Farah. Like, why is this guy getting any airtime anyway? Just because of his disclosure movie or whatever the frig he made? And it was all right. It wasn't the best. But, you know, when your narrative is all one-sided, it's not hard to make a documentary that way. Try doing real investigative journalism and going out and talking to the public and get all sorts of stories instead of just this one-sided military, got to do it this way or we're not going to talk at all. We're not going to disclose anything. Shocker, you're not disclosing anything anyway. I don't know. I don't understand why we're not doing congressional hearings with any of the public. Throw them in there. Give us a bone, man. I mean, you know, we've got the better evidence than what the government's showing. Even though we know they've got the real 4K stuff. You know, we know they got it. We'll never see it. We're going to get the same rigmarole we're getting now. Paris with a $2 super. A miniature the Zeppelin. They are miniature Zeppelins. Yeah, very cool. I didn't think of that because they are kind of that shape, that tic-tac shape, that kind of rounded edge Zeppelin-ish, 40 foot long. Interesting. Yeah, thanks for the thought and the super chat again. Yeah, that's what they are. The Zeppelins are making a comeback. Nah. Oh, man. Thank you for that. Well, thank you, everybody, for hanging out tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. I was going to do the Bigfoot thing tonight, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. Trust me, it'll be better if I do it tomorrow. Today, I just couldn't get it done. So we'll do Bigfoot. We'll do the moon stuff tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that. I meant to say it in the beginning of the show that we're changing it up tonight. But anyway, good for you. Surprise, surprise, right? You never know what's going to happen here. What does it matter anyway? I mean, really. No, but you guys are all in there talking about your own stuff. But tomorrow will be good. I found some of the craziest stuff. And Ed Chaffet sent me some things, man. So we're going to look at Bigfoot, the moon bases. The moon is really freaking weird. But for tomorrow, I'm running a little late. All right, thank you everybody for hanging out. Again, moderators, super chatters, thank you. Newcomers, veterans, thanks for making the chat room spin. Appreciate everything. And we'll do it again tomorrow. Remember, if you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out for ufology. That's a shame. Isn't that a shame? That's a shame. Stupid saying. Alien bless.
It's rotating.
What was in the skies over Jerusalem, and why did it stop one of the most treasured sites in Christianity?
There's a new evidence that making proof for another universe. UFO in the form of a bright light descending over the dome of the rock of Jerusalem.